back to another episode. Today, actually, we have a guest who, no, we don't have a guest. We have a special guest. Today, we have a special guest. Her name is Treldy. And we're super excited because she had messaged me a few weeks ago asking me questions about bodybuilding and turning 30 and bucket list items. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are literally the questions that Bianca and I get.
And those are also some of the questions that we had when we started. Things that we didn't know, and we wanted to know a little bit more about the sport. And yeah, she's here,
So welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
What got you into like the fitness community, or like on your new journey, because you want to do bodybuilding, right?
Yeah.
So what got you like started into that?
So actually, a few years ago, before COVID, I did reach out to somebody I already knew who was doing it. A couple things happened in terms of like finance and starting a new job. I didn't have the time to do it, so I was more focused on work. And now that I am rebuilding my life again, just turned 30.
Like a new chapter.
Yeah, a new chapter of my life, like a new era, right?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to focus on goals that I actually failed before, and then bring it back into my life and actually focus on myself and reach goals that I want to do personally.
Right. We love that.
Because you too, right? You wanted to start when you were going to turn 30. Like, that was my thing. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to turn 30. What am I doing with my life? Like, I need to do this competition. But I was scared because, just like everybody, we don't know what to do. We think it's going to be super strict, and we hear so many myths. So, like, for me, I was excited but nervous.
Yeah, same. At first, that was kind of like the motivation of like, I'm gonna turn 30, so I want to do this bodybuilding competition. I want to have like the best looking body at 30. But then also because I love fitness and I like working out, so that was kind of like both together.
What first step did you take to start your bikini competition journey?
I think that it's those necessary steps. I think it varies by person, but for me, like, I had to be in a certain mental state. I had to like talk to myself and like have this commitment with myself of like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start doing this. For example, I think I started like on a Monday, so I was like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start this. My diet, I already went grocery shopping. Like, there's no turning back. I'm going to do this like full on, right? So it's just like having that commitment with yourself, and then also knowing beforehand what you're going to get into. Because if you don't do your research and you don't know like what to expect, you might get a little overwhelmed, or you might maybe give up a little bit easier, because it's going to be challenging. So they're gonna have to tell you, and you're gonna have to understand that it is going to be challenging. It's not going to be easy. It's hard. It's hard to work mentally and physically, and I'm gonna say emotionally as well. Like a little emotional.
There are those days for sure.
But I think all of those steps, you have to work on yourself. Like, you're the only one who can hate yourself to that point mentally, and the physical comes with it. By you having that, like, being mentally strong and knowing what's coming, the physical is there.
Yeah.
Since we all decided to do bikini competition when we all turned 30, what would you tell yourself when you first initially started?
The most cheesiest thing ever, but trust the process. Because like when I started and I had to pose, I hated posing because I couldn't visualize the body that goes on stage. And then it's like there were certain workouts that I got frustrated with doing, or like there were certain days that I just didn't want to do cardio, but like I just like kept going. So it's like literally just trust the process, because future you will get you there. I remember so clearly this one memory. I think I was like 3 weeks out or 2 weeks out, and I was in the shower. I was like, I don't care what it takes. Like, I need to be on that stage, because there are some moments where you look at yourself and you're like, am I really ready? Like, am I really going to be on that stage? Because you start to panic. It's your first time, and it's so real when you're 2 weeks out. So I remember telling myself, like, regardless of how I look, I already committed, so I have to get on that stage. So I either get on that stage and I look shitty, or I get on that. Well, I didn't look shitty at 2 weeks out, but I'm saying like I could give up and start eating and stuff, or I just go with it and I give my best. So it's just like literally just trusting the process, because if you have a good coach and you literally just commit to yourself, and the commitment comes with the process. Like the first day you start, you're not disciplined. Like when I started, I wasn't disciplined. you see a disciplined version of me today, but that's not the version that started.
Okay.
And like I feel like a lot of people, when you're first starting, you're comparing yourself to the disciplined person instead of comparing yourself to the beginner person. I feel like a lot of people, when you're first starting, you're comparing yourself to the disciplined person instead of comparing yourself to the beginner person.
Ooh, that's good.
You know, and your coach will tell you like, no, you can't do it in like 16 weeks. You need 20. So then take your 20. Because I feel like for me, the first time I said to go, I wasn't going to do a show. Like after my first one, I really wanted to do the next one in October. And then so much happened in my personal life that the commitment was not there, that it disrupts your training, right? So when I told him I wasn't going to do the October one, I cried because I felt like I failed. But in this sport, it's not how many you do. It's when you show up, you got to show up as your best. Even though I wanted it to do it, not showing up actually got me better for this one. So don't feel like you have to do a lot, and especially because you'll start seeing other girls do one after the other, and you're like, oh my gosh, should I too? But it's just like they could be tired and exhausted while you're taking your time to recover to look your best at another one. Trusting the process.
So what was it like when you first hit the stage, and what was going through your mind within those 30, 45 seconds?
I'm gonna take it back a little bit. Like that week, like peak week, everybody kept asking me like, "Are you ready?" And I felt like everybody kept asking me if I was nervous. I'm like, "Am I supposed to be?" Because I wasn't. Because I had been prepping for like so long and training for like 7 months and then I saw their show and I'm like, I'm ready to get up there. Like I'm ready for it to be my turn. So I was like really excited and just like really ready for show day. And then show day came and I was happy with what I had accomplished, like my package, but I wasn't like fully confident because my body didn't hit like how I wanted it to, right? But like you can't rush your body. But I wanted to do the show anyway. So I was confident but not fully confident because obviously like there was all these other girls and I was okay, I'm not at that level, but I'm still gonna like go out there and like do my best, right? So I didn't get nervous until I was like literally walking up the stage. Like literally when I was like stepping those steps, my blood like left my body. I didn't feel anything. I was just like trying to like hold up a smile, like just smile the entire time, trying not to like seem like really nervous. You know, sometimes people on stage you can see them shake, and I felt I was shaking, but Bo was like, "No, you didn't look like you were shaking," but I felt it like so crazy. I didn't really see anyone. Like it was kind of dark. Like all I was thinking was like, okay, like I just have to hit like my poses. I just have to hit it. Don't trip. Like that's all I was thinking. And when I got off, it was like a rush. Like everything came back and I couldn't breathe. I was like out of breath. Like wow, that was a workout. But it was really exciting. Yeah. What about for you?
I looked for my husband right away. Where is he? Okay, I see him. And then I was like, okay, now I gotta look at the judges. I was really nervous. You just can't control your internal shakiness that happens, and it's so normal. And then you're wearing heels, which are high that you're not used to wearing. But like we went up twice. We did novice and then we did class. So like novice is always like your practice round. Like that's where you go, and like if you mess up, well, at least you got your nerves out. And then when you go back again for like your class, which is by your height, then it's like you already have the experience. You already know what to expect. You already know where everybody is. So then you feel more confident the second time around.
Easier the second time when you get up there.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's not so much like, ooh.
You guys talk about your coaches and training and the mindset. So how do you pick your support system or a coach that you feel will help you get to the goals that you want to achieve?
For me, it was really important. I have a history of having had an eating disorder when I was younger. Knowing that if I had to have a diet where it was super strict with like just rice and chicken and veggies, I'm setting myself up for failure because it's going to trigger me to just like have binge moments. You know, like if you have that for so long, after a while, you're going to want to binge on food. So I wanted to make sure that if I worked with a coach, he was going to be realistic with like working with macros and that I was going to be able to eat certain like different foods and that I wasn't going to do anything extreme because that's not realistic and that's not what I preach to my clients. I didn't want to do something that I don't even practice myself. So I met with Bo and like I asked him all my questions and then we did a workout together. Yeah, like he aligned with everything that I believed in.
I feel like mine's the opposite.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I've never really had a coach. He's like literally my first coach. I kind of knew a little bit about like the bodybuilding world. All I wanted was to find a coach that would deliver results, right? So then I found him by like a family friend. So he gave him the results that I was looking for. I'm like, hey, those look so good. I'm sure he's gonna do that for me. And then when we met, he was like really nice. So like we had a good vibe. So I'm like, okay, this is fine. This is perfect. And in my mind, I didn't really think about like, oh, the food, because previous to that, I was in the gym like training myself, and I would eat chicken, tilapia, veggies. So I was ready for the extremes. Like I don't care. I will do the extremes if I have to. So he had me like on a meal plan for 2 months. So I was eating the same thing for 2 months, which is fine for me because that's what I need, a structure. I'm fine if I have to do chicken just for like a whole month, I'll do that, you know? And then after that, he had me do macros, and that's what I didn't want to do because I felt like it was more complex. But now I really love it, and it's given me the ability to eat the foods that I love. Like I love bread and like pasta, and I can fit cookies here and there, Starbucks. Oh, okay. Yeah, and like so I was like in my mind ready to like not have any of that and just do like veggies, protein, like all of that. But with him, I could just really eat normal, you know, and that's like something that's like it's healthy for you, especially like for your mindset, because I don't want to have these issues with food because I'm a huge foodie.
Oh yes, me too.
Yeah, I mean it still does become difficult because obviously if you can't eat like a whole pizza like I would, you know, but you can't. It's just like a give and take. I feel like I was ready for the extremes, and then he was like, "No, we're gonna do it the healthy way." Yeah. So I'm like, "Okay, good."
I feel that having a coach that customizes to you and doesn't give you cookie cutter programs is so crucial, because like coaches that provide for so many athletes a cookie cutter program, they're not aware of your hormones, they're not aware of your periods, they're not as on you as like someone like our coach who's like making sure like how's your energy, how are you feeling, do you need a refeed, do we need to do this, because this is just going to be a one-day event and then you go back to your regular life. So you want to make sure that they care about your regular life too, you know, not just like get him a trophy so he gets another name under his like win list, but like actually concerned about what's going to happen to you after.
You guys are like breaking all of
like the stereotypes.
Yeah, the stereotypes, because when you hear about bodybuilding, I think that's what really scared me too before, it was all these extreme diets, right? All these fads, and everybody dramatizes like how you prep and whatnot. That is mindful though. It's mindful and it looks healthy. So
and
that's
it takes
what really,
time.
Yeah.
People think it's like overnight. And
yes.
Really, you have to be patient with yourself, with your body, and if you're consistent and you really enjoy the process, you're gonna get there.
There's no award for suffering. When you get close to competition or like you talk to other athletes, they'll be like, oh my God, I have to do this, or I have to do so much cardio, or I can't have this. And it's just like, you don't get an award for suffering. You know, it's just like, because at the end of the day, you get your award by what your physique looks like. So if you can eat what you can and you don't have to like get yourself there by suffering, why would you torture yourself? Because then when it comes to like doing another one, you're going to be like, oh, but I was so like, I hated the process. Like you're not going to look forward to it, you know? So don't let the stereotype of like hours of cardio and boring diets, like you don't have to suffer to be successful in this. You just, like you said, have to be mindful, you know.
And understand that everyone's body is different. So, like your coach, he's gonna try different techniques based on what works for your body.
Yes.
Like I started off with my cardio, I had to do like almost an hour a day, and some other girl that we know, she didn't even really have to do any cardio. So it just depends on your body.
It's really refreshing and
makes you less nervous.
It does. It really does make me less nervous, but it also makes me like, oh my God, I want to do it. Like I want to like attack like this goal. I've been doing sports almost all my life and cheered and everything, and that's expensive too. And when I work out now, I enjoy working out. I find different ways or different things to do, like yoga or anything like that. But I can tell I want to be challenged by something.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of it too, of wanting to do bikini competitions, is it's a challenge. It's mental, it's physical, and I'm sure it's emotional.
It's spiritual too.
Yeah.
Like it taps into like there's some things that only you yourself can push yourself through. Like if you are really craving something or you really don't want to do something, like your coach isn't going to be there like taking the pizza out of your mouth. Like that's you on you, you know? So you grow in a lot of ways.
Because if you really want to achieve this goal, you won't be tempted by anything. You're going to be mentally strong, and like you're going to be able to be around like the food that's not in your meal plan, and you're going to be fine. But also you have to set yourself for success. Have your meals ready. So that way, if you are hungry, you won't get tempted of like, damn, I have to make my meals. I haven't cooked my dinner. I'm starving. Like you have to prepare in advance. You know.
Another thing that people don't really mention that I don't know why it slipped my mind, because in my head when I first started, all I could think about was like my diet and my nutrition. Like posing is for me a whole other animal where I struggle with that the most. You can get me in here and I'll be super tired, but I'll get through a workout. But like if I'm not feeling my best self and I have to pose, you can see it in my posing, because that's like where my confidence is either up or it's down. You're literally training for, I don't know, 6 months, a year for the best 30 seconds you can give. If your body looks great but your posing sucks, you just wasted your time. Like that didn't turn real until like later on. Our coach had us like pose in bikinis in the gym in front of people just to get us comfortable, and I was like, how am I going to do this on stage with thousands of people? And then that's when I started questioning, like, how bad do I want it? Do I really want to be on stage? And then so I kind of just developed like a little like alter ego technique for me. So like every time I'm on there, I'm like, okay, just pretend like you are confident and just like be this person. And then like that's kind of like, it sounds weird, but that's kind of like what gets me through. When you're up there, you gotta think you're the baddest bitch. Like, because if you're not, you will see it.
Yeah.
And like you work so hard to not think you're the baddest. Like no. Normal day to day, I don't always think that of myself, but on that day, you have to. Like you have to.
I have
And
to
there's
show
no-
up and like I'm
Yes.
gonna kill this shit.
Yes.
Like this is mine.
Like she's so good at posing. Like she's the one who corrects us, and then we have another girl named Jen too. But they are amazing at posing. So you just have to like. For me, I love the workout. So if there's any tricks about working out, I'll be like, oh, I did this with this machine, and if there's any tricks with posing, they'll tell me.
We like help each other on like, I guess we could say weaknesses.
Yeah.
And our strengths.
Yes. And that's why you want to have an environment in the gym that also like motivates you versus like competitiveness in like a negative way. Because like for us, I think we all are competitive, but like we bring each other up. Like, you know, we want to help each other, and it's not an environment of like, well, you walk in and it's like, oh, intimidating. Yeah. And that matters. You want to walk in there and like be excited to work out with your team. I don't know, I feel that. You feel that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I love working out here instead of like on my own when I do my own workouts at the gym that I go to. It's really boring and I'm not really motivated, but when I'm here, like she comes in at the same time or like some other girls and then we'll just train together, and it's more motivating because like it pushes you, it challenges you to like go up on the weight or like not give up or give extra like 5 reps or whatnot, you know.
Yeah. Or if I would have skipped posing but Bianca's here, I'm like, oh, there's no skipping posing.
She'll be like, are you posing? Like, yeah. Of course we are.
What are the financial costs of whether it's your competition, your prepping, or like coaches, and overall what you think is a necessity to be successful in competitions?
I feel like it's all
Yeah, it's all. These are all the things you do have to
pay.
You have to, if you want to be successful, you should get a coach.
Yes.
Not a cookie cutter coach that's going to give you like, oh, this is a cheaper like program. Like then you're going to feel it later. So invest
One
in a
that
good coach.
tailors the program for each person.
Okay.
Yes. Your suits, which depending on if you rent your suit or you buy your suit, like that's going to be costly, I think. They bring it like suits, if you buy them, can range anywhere from $500, $600, $700, depending on like the add-ons.
Over $1,000.
Yeah, to over $1,000.
I would recommend renting them for your first couple of shows, and if this is something that you want to do long term, then invest in one.
Your food, your protein, your supplements, like you're gonna be on well, I mean for me it's creatine that I gotta buy, protein. That's pretty much it. That adds up.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Especially nowadays. It's pretty pricey. And I was like thinking to myself the other day, I'm like, wow, like I have a specific type of meal that I eat, right?
I'm kind of boring. Diana, she's more like better with her meals.
It's different. What works.
And I like, okay, that's something else. Topic. I was like, wow, I only really spend money on food nowadays. I only invest my money in this sport. And it all goes to my food, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm only literally buying like chicken, shrimp, and salmon, and it's so expensive.
But it's expensive, but you're putting good stuff in your body.
Yeah.
Like, I know that in the 90s, people were like, oh, don't eat red meat because it's so bad for your body. But like steak is really good for your body. And if you're training,
And it's so good.
and like in our 30s, like we need all the collagen. It is delicious. Like it has so many nutrients. So it's like, as long as you're adding vegetables, and you should be like, your body is actually healing while you're doing this, you know. I think that people that have a lot of gut issues are like, they're not doing a lot of whole foods or variations, right? Like they just stick to the tilapia and the rice, and like that's all they're eating, so there's no variation, so of course there's going to be gut issues. But if you like have variety of vegetables, or you're alternating different things, then you shouldn't have a problem.
I'm gonna mention that in the last prep that I did, I was having a little bit of like gut issues, like with my protein bars and the protein shake that I was using. Like my stomach was real weird, and then Bo sent me to someone who recommended to like take L-glutamine and all that. And then now I would say this prep, I'm not having like the same issues, and I think it's because my body has been on like a different diet for almost a year now, so it kind of adapted now to like healthier foods because girl, I love my pastries and like pizza, cookies, all of that, which I can still eat, but like now that I'm more so eating healthier foods, like my body's just reacting better.
And then gym clothes, like you invest in that, and then as you start dropping weight towards the end, it gets faster where you drop weight, so you got to start buying like new jeans. The shirts you can kind of wear throughout, but like your jeans will definitely change.
These are Diana's,
Oh, are they? Oh, nice.
but like they could be big.
We just share clothes because then it's like, well, I'm not going to use it here. You can use it, and then you pass it on when you can't use it. You know.
This is like the sisterhood of the traveling tan.
Yeah.
And then show day,
Oh,
you do your
yes.
tan, and we always recommend to do go with
Show
the tanning, the show tan, because they do like that night before and then that morning of, and then backstage. So you need those little touch-ups.
Makeup.
Hair, if you want to pay for hair, if you want to do your own hair, it's up to you. Definitely recommend always getting a makeup artist, unless you know how to do stage makeup, then you're good to go.
And that one I can tell you is like 180.
Yeah.
180, 200 for just makeup.
Just makeup.
Because I just paid for it. That's what I remember.
I mean, I feel like tanning is around the same. Like
Yeah.
150.
Yeah.
So tanning, makeup, hair, your suit,
The NPC card.
your card,
So
your
that you can
membership
compete.
card. Okay.
And then
for a year.
show.
Every year you have to renew your shoes,
The show itself.
the show itself, and then
Yes.
if you want to do different classes, that's an extra like $100.
Yeah. So like novice is a class, so that's $100, and then if you wanted to do like for your height, which would be class A or B, that's another $100. So yeah, like it adds up. Yes.
Your jewelry.
Yeah, but your jewelry you can get on Amazon because it's like costume jewelry.
Yeah.
So you can get it for like 12
Claire's,
bucks.
Amazon.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still gotta pay for it.
Yeah.
Your nails.
Yes. There's quite a few things that you do have to pay. But I think mostly it's like since it's over time, what adds up is the food and the coaching.
Yeah.
And then the actual like day of, what adds up is the tan, the hair, the makeup, the NPC, and the actual like
Show.
event itself. Yeah.
If you prepare,
Yeah.
you'll be good.
Yes.
If
for
you know
sure.
what show you're doing, prepare in advance.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. I hope that her questions were just as informative and it helped answer your questions. If there's any other questions that you have, just write them down in the comments or keep sending us messages on Instagram.
Yes.
See you next time.
See you next time.